All right, so we'll start on RAISY, the Strog, see what it can do. Are we expecting I normally see the rockets, people fighting over the rockets at the very start. Are we expecting to see that?
It depends what Dan does. Sometimes even people just love flying to the LG. So RAISY going to get the rocket spawn and apply a bit of pressure.
How come they're both over this side of the map? Already we see a fight breaking out.
Well, I think RAISY just wants to set the pace very early on. As you can see, now he's going to be able to get the heavy. No, actually, Dan's going to push. I like this by Dan. You can see already, Dan's not just going to walk over and allow RAISY to just set the pace of the game. He's also fighting back.
And is RAISY going to get a lightning gun here? It looks like Dan knows he's there and connects with no nail gun though. I think nail guns are not that good on land for some reason.
Yeah, you got to really use it a very specific way. But it can depend. Looks like RAISY may get the first kill. Not going to happen, but does have full control right now and looking good for Dan.
Yet to see an orb. Yet to really have a good opportunity for Dan to use it though. He's trying to get some damage on this heavy. He hits a nice rocket as he goes into Pika though, so he's just got the armor stack. Can Dan get on these lights? RAISY's going to know he's waiting for one.
But I like what Dan's doing. You know, he knows he can't overcommit. He just needs to stay at a distance, kind of spamming rockets. He will get a close range.
Oh.
Actually, orbs and kills him.
Oh.
Excellent first
I
fight.
don't think RAISY was expecting him to just be there and... Oh my god, he nearly knocked him off the Mega. RAISY just coming back around with a shotgun, hit a nice shotgun blast, and will Dan get the heavy? RAISY's giving up the light for it to be here, and he's trying to bully Dan off it. He does get it. Dan does hit some good exit rocket damage. Strog and Pika wasted a bit there, do you reckon?
Well, I mean, Dan's pretty low there. He's just trying to like keep him as low as possible so he can kind of push in here. But so far, as you can see, RAISY is just kind of doing what he does best, which is just pushing as much as he can. Dan barely missing that air rocket. Should get the Mega now.
Maybe we'll see Dan slow the game. He still wants to fight for this heavy. He desperately really wants to fight this heavy. He's dropped the nail gun though. The lightning gun is good. Uses the orb to reposition on the heavy. Walks away with it, but not really that healthy. And nice HMG. I mean, they're both so low.
Geez, Dan very ambitious there. He was pushing it very little, but manages to get away with it. This is where it gets awkward because RAISY has the weapons. Dan doesn't really have much of an instance to push in here, but RAISY should clean it up.
Oh,
he
he
actually gets
does
the
take
Mega.
the Mega. Wow.
Took too long.
I think there was a little bit of sloppy rockets coming out there from RAISY. And I think it's awkward maybe over the Mega thing, and then Dan just throws it all away. So I felt that wasn't necessary to do.
Yeah. He could just be feeling it a little bit. I mean, it is the first map, and you know, if he wins this, he's into the upper bracket.
Oh, there's the orb,
Nice
and he's having
play.
success with the orb. Is it possible to run the cooldowns and just play around the orb more, or is that too hard to do as a ranger on this map? Not enough cooldowns, maybe. What do you reckon?
I think you get to play the map more than play the ability, but
Right.
it's a bit harder for Strog to get kind of value. I mean, we even saw it there. Oh, he doesn't manage to get him. He's 2 HP. Sometimes, like, you just can't get great value out of the Pika. You really got to use it specifically. It's more about
A zoning? More I see a lot of Pikas over the lightning gun in the lightning gun room. Yeah, it seems like a common place to use it.
or even like fresh off spawn where they don't have the weapons yet to handle it. That's when it becomes really effective. But usually when the game's pretty even, it's kind of hard to, you know, I don't know, like I say, like just push with it or get good value. But so far, looks like Dan's going to end up with both items here, and he's going to actually push with the orb.
I don't think the orb connected though. He got close. Oh, rocket choice from RAISY though. I don't like it. And he manages to kill him before the heavy, and Dan will get that. And like you just said, he got both items, but RAISY made him work for it. And yeah, RAISY's choice of weapons there. What was...
I don't know, I think he just fumbled.
Yeah, right. Rocket first LG.
Yeah, I was going to say he just didn't have the weapons. Maybe he thought he already had LG, but definitely wrong position, wrong time.
I think this is a bit ambitious out of RAISY here. He thinks maybe Dan's a bit lower than what he actually is, and he's going to go down there. So we're seeing RAISY trying to bully him back, but now he's playing a bit too loose and a bit too free. And
sometimes that can be RAISY's problem a little bit. He kind of gets a little bit, like his mechanics is his strength. Okay, it's going to be a killer for RAISY. His mechanics can be his strength, but alternatively, you know, he can kind of get overconfident and then just ends up in these weird battles where he doesn't have the right stuff. But he's going to push away Dan here, and he's not going to have enough health.
oh, nice HMG there. All right, that was clean. Dan doing no return damage. The light's not there for RAISY, but he's definitely going to get this heavy. Probably doesn't want to take too much here, does he? Wow. 30 HP after that. He had a 170 stack before. He lost 140 before that heavy.
This is that position back behind LG. It's just too strong, especially for
The headshot's too hard to hit.
Well, just like even the HMG is a very tiny spread, so even if you're trying to hit like directs, it still doesn't. It's not 100% accurate, and that's even harder to hit.
Yes, right. Only every third or fourth bullet's hitting because of the spread.
Yeah, it's very awkward. You trade way better behind the LG.
Oh, nice rockets here from Dan. He's trying to hit RAISY off. Oh,
And again.
a peeker, and he orbed while he's in peeker mode.
Yep. And look what RAISY's doing. See how you're trying to like just push, I think?
Yes.
But moments like that, look at that. Now at the moment, RAISY's in a pretty tough spot.
Dan didn't hit clean shotgun there. Unbelievable. He felt like he had that, and he probably should have, but shotgun just whiffed a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, he's playing Ranger. Sometimes you have to put the extra faith. Put the faith in the rockets. You have less self-damage. Just push, because otherwise, situations like that doesn't work out.
Yep. And Dan's zoning nicely with the rockets here. He's going to win himself the heavy. RAISY's definitely respecting Dan's rockets a little bit, especially around those heavy armor fights. So maybe he's a little bit worried of something happening. Maybe he's scared of the orb coming in as well, getting too close range to Dan. Seems to be something that Dan's having success with early on in this map. So
something that I think that gets a little bit underrated about this matchup is that Strug has a bigger hitbox. So generally, when you're taking these 50-50 trades,
not connecting with many rockets there though. A little bit of splash, but he shot one too deep, one too shallow, and then Dan just comes on through with the lightning gun.
Yeah. And gonna trap RAISY here over the Mega, but this is definitely RAISY's position. He loves to play there. And
I've heard that. I think I've heard Rafa say that as well about RAISY. Yeah, how does he do it?
Well, the thing is, like, it's the tiniest angle, and I think it's actually about like perspective of where you look from the head. If that makes sense. And basically, you can see them pretty well, but they can just see like the dot.
Yes, right. Now that shotgun push, Dan actually had RAISY on 9 HP. The Mega just spawned, and then obviously the vial from when Dan died put him back to 130. So he did get close on that refrag and felt like he should have had it, but shotgun 9 damage off. So and we're not seeing a lot of value out of these Strug and Peekers right now either.
No,
and it seems like almost when RAISY goes into that mode, Dan's thinking, I need to go in for a kill. I need to push for a kill while he's vulnerable like this. Because he's not dodging, he's not moving, so it's the best time to hit RAISY.
I think that's one of the issues with the Strug. Like when you are playing this matchup, you almost like have to like defend yourself with the Peeker. I find like if you use it on top of your body, sometimes if they orb to you, you can just like blast and then just like suicide the Peeker. But yeah, every time RAISY's used the Peeker so far, it hasn't worked out.
Now Dan tried to look for too much damage there at the lightning gun, and then gave over a positional flip to RAISY, who went off and took the heavy, and then obviously got the next kill. So I think Dan played himself a little bit into a corner there. He should have backed off to the heavy a little bit sooner, and that gave RAISY that heavy then, and then the next frag. So unfortunate. Still 2 minutes left. 4 frags. This is doable, Dave. Do you reckon? Is it a bit hard? A bit too hard? On Crafted Keep, what's it like spawn fragging on this map?
I mean, it's definitely notorious for spawn frags, but Dan's going to need to hit some crazy damage. He doesn't have the ability. He's going to push in here, and no, that's not going to work. And I think that might be the game even, actually.
Yeah, right. 5 frags, and then RAISY kicks up the Mega from that. Dan's still not giving up, though. Obviously, he's got to take a lot more risks here and play a lot more aggressive. He's hoping to hit the direct orb, the air orb. And actually, Dan should be able to win this heavy. So, and RAISY doesn't want to give it up, bro. I mean, that was a great rocket. Let's not take away anything from Dan, but did RAISY have to do that with 1:30 left?
I think I don't mind it by RAISY, because if he gets that kill, the game's over.
The game's over, right?
But now Dan does have a chance.
Yes.
Definitely a good percentage play. RAISY will get the Mega. He's playing his usual position.
Yep, he loves it down there. And wow. This time the poor weapon selection from Dan, I would say. Got no rocket damage there.
Well, he just hits, like, RAISY hits such good low to high ground LG. He just understands, like, how to just perfectly stand and not get any damage.
Yes, right. Using the low ground advantage.
Yep.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
And looking like first map here.
Yeah.
I would say Dan played pretty solid there. I mean, he had quite a good few moments. Like, I think it's more just cleaning up that game a little bit.
Yeah. I feel like RAISY's consistency was a little bit more there, like in fights, and definitely, like you said, abusing the low to high ground advantage a lot of times. So,
but even more specifically, a couple of things that like all about the small moments, because there was a few times where, especially on this map, is if you push, take 60 damage with LG, then all of a sudden you just don't have enough stack to contest the item, like contest the next item.
Yep.
So, and especially towards the end there, like when it was 12-7 and Dan pushed from nail gun, you know, you just have to find a different way. How can I say? He needed to like play around the item a little bit instead of just like pushing through the choke when RAISY is like floating around there.
Right. Okay, so a little bit of some good takeaways there for Dan, but RAISY's locking it down there at the end, and yeah, he got a lot of efficiency out of the orb, I felt, and then the Pika didn't really get too much out of it until maybe towards the end when, like you said, it was a fresh spawner and he could just push with the Pika and you can't really deal with it very well. You got to hit direct rockets on it or something like that. But all right, and I think, what was the next map? Not Veil, it was Insomnia, wasn't it? Awoken. Okay, Awoken. And it was Nyx versus Visor. Yeah, Dan on Visor and RAISY on Nyx. So no railgun on this map, so we can't really go one was railing better than the other. It's going to be determined on that, you reckon?
But even though statistic there, like RAISY hit almost 40% LG, 40% rockets, but Dan just wasn't connecting as much. Again, like, you know, I think it's just the way that Dan set himself up. He was playing more of like a really aggressive, trying to push more with the orb, but you kind of use the orb as, sometimes you can use it as more of a like, how can I say? When you're trading evenly, then use it, rather than he was kind of like just dive bombing in with rockets and orb, and sometimes like it pays off, but you end up like with really low HP. Strog is like starting with good stack, has pink.
And then that will just go for the refrag. Yeah, right, yep. And then they'll get the vial off your body and eventually reach mega health stack, so. All right, I think both players said ready. Get straight into it, and we'll just see what's going on in the chat. GG's. Thanks everyone for tuning in. That was the first map of our best of 5 first semi-finals. Obviously we've got Zanaku here with me, and he'll be playing Rafa next straight after this, and then we'll be doing the upper bracket final straight after once you get through Rafa.
Oh really?
Yeah, straight away. So and then we'll go down to the lower bracket after that. So
looking to be good. But here, yeah, I would say, I mean, even back in the day, Nyx was kind of one of RAISY's more specialty picks.
Yep.
I think even for Dan, he loves his Nyx as well. I mean,
yeah, he does. Yeah.
Very strong
Yeah, right. Yep. Yeah, I think it was good for. I think it was good for RAISY to pick it away from Dan, especially. Yeah, especially if he knows it well. So. And we've just gone on to the view of the spectator hall, which is next door. It's actually pretty close. There's a lot more room in it than that. That's like the front row of the hall, where the screen is. So yeah, it'd be good to see some people in there later. Players obviously, as they get knocked out, will go in there. So all right, we want to start on RAISY or Dave? Dan, who do you want to start on?
Let's go Dan this time. We started on RAISY.
Yep.
Last map, so.
Cool. So we'll see what the visor does off the spawn.
Round begins in 3, 2, 1. Fight.
All right, so take us away.
All right, Dan, you're gonna get the rail, and RAISY, you're gonna get the rockets and for the LG. But usually the rail player, I would say, has the advantage. But this is kind of like a rotating kind of map. Like you eventually get all the weapons and you start fighting for the items. So. RAISY trying to just suss out Dan at the moment.
Ooh, a little bit of tri-bolt to the face.
And did you notice even something as subtle as that? Like as RAISY is like flying through the teleporter, and
He's already pre-shooting the tri-bolt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, even that, just like as soon as Dan wants to peek for a rail, he's already got tri-bolt coming in his face.
Yeah.
That's the type of stuff that makes him really strong.
Ooh, some nice LG from both players. There's the invis, there's the wall hack.
Nice.
Interesting first fight. Let's just quickly see the accuracy. So 58 LG from RAISY, 49 from Dan.
Yep.
That's some crazy LG in the first fight.
I mean, you have to remember, Dan was dropping on RAISY. It wasn't like he had perfect angle or something.
Yes.
So that was really nice for Dan.
Oh, he's pushing with rockets here. He knows the Nyx doesn't have the invis. He was hoping to connect with some better rockets there, but RAISY does make his way into the mega, and now Dan thinks he's got RAISY low, and you can't push like that versus RAISY, can you?
I mean, he did the right thing there. He went for that close range rail. Even if he missed it, could invis. But I like what RAISY's doing here. It's not going to actually pay off. But if Dan was pushing rail, there's definitely be another kill just now. And this is one of the problems with Visor. Oh, okay. Again, RAISY just spamming the choke. Should get this mega flag cleanly.
When he opens himself up for another rail angle there, so Dan can't leave. And rail, wow, what is RAISY's rail right now? We'll find out in a second. Just see what happens here. Looks like Dan will get out just, oh, but he's just walked straight through to RAISY. And we've got only, well, 77 rail. Yeah, wow, crazy. Yep. RAISY's hitting everything.
Face it, you're all
And
washed
I think
up.
Dan's got to be careful here to do what happened with it against him in Stage. Give over too many frags to a Nyx on Awoken, where she can just run away and play the invis game. And RAISY's hitting so many rails, crazy. 84% rail at the moment.
Yeah, it's one of those. What?
Oh.
He's actually going to go with the gauntlet. Dan, I mean, he's not going to get the gauntlet kill, but he did.
Oh, when he hits a rail of his own. Okay, he's not done. Oh, okay. All right. Now we're seeing a little bit of an interesting game, and I think RAISY's...
Okay, nail gun.
He's got to tighten up here.
Yep.
I think RAISY he needs to tighten up. He plays a really good offensive game, but his defensive game seems to be playing offense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he uses his offense as defense. So
I think he, like I said, just his mechanics kind of. He starts pushing. He has so much confidence, and suddenly, as soon as he gets like refragged in a really weird way, he starts to just keep the momentum up. Can sometimes work against him, but Dan can have both items, and we'll see what RAISY chooses to do. Dan gonna pop the vision.
oh, Dan shot that rocket a little shallow. He will come in with the LG, and RAISY slipped up there. I feel like not jumping straight on the mega. Do you reckon? Or
Yeah, I think
he sort of jumped awkwardly off it towards the U bend a little bit, and then he couldn't come back for it because he realized he's getting lightning gunned.
Yep.
And now,
God. Okay.
punishing. Oh, that's tough for Dan, and he just had that mega stack as well. To lose like that.
I mean, sometimes you do have to be careful going through that teleporter, because if someone hits you perfectly right on the side there, you just launch. Especially as Visor, he has faster acceleration than other characters, pushes him right out.
Right,
so.
the momentum of coming through that portal, and that has
You are never going to win.
has totally destroyed anything Dan had right now.
Yep. Nice little rocket, but and again, RAISY's going to clean this up. I was going to say earlier, one of the problems with Visor on this map is that even another advantage for the Nyx, you know, when you have the vision and you don't have the stack, you still can't do that much, because like if you have LG and Tribolt, you're not really, you know, connecting anything. But if you have like Invis as an out of control player as Nyx, you can still like reposition, get a good LG angle and do something. But when you're out of control with Visor on this map, it's very awkward. Like you can't necessarily.
Very limited.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, okay, yeah. And RAISY's rail just, again, keeping Dan at bay, making sure he can't come out for any of these major items. And I don't even think he's got a railgun right now, has he? Did he pick up a rail? Or is he going for it now?
I think he must be getting it now, but we'll get railed once there.
RAISY's trying to make sure he plays around this mega stack, so he wants to take the fight. Because if he takes any damage, then he can obviously fall back to the mega, and he will pick that up now that he's made the frag.
But you, oh, sorry about that.
There you go.
Just then, that last frag, what RAISY did, left the mega, knows Dan is low.
Yep.
He has enough time to kill Dan from a different position.
And
I've
they
been
still
fighting
come back to
trash
it.
like you
That's
for
how you know
years.
you're trying to optimize as many options as you possibly can.
Yeah, right, yep.
Yeah, and clearly, for
And there's
RAISY,
no possible way for the Visor to try to steal the mega from out under you, because you're tracking him through the walls, and your Nyx, you can cut him off, right?
it would have been hard for Dan.
Hard, yeah. Oh, the shotgun whiff!
Oh my-
Shotguns whiff! Wow. Okay, that was very interesting, wasn't it?
I guess RAISY wouldn't like anybody to clip that. Definitely don't.
Yeah, don't clip that one. Don't talk about those ones.
It's only the highlights.
Yeah, this is the rail off the edge of the map while Dan was full stack. That was a good one.
Yeah. We'll keep that one.
Oh, Dan's got to hit this second rail. No. He machine gun. He could machine gun. He's not switching to it, Dave. What do you reckon?
I know Dan. When I played Dan in practice, this happened a few times between us, but
Where he didn't switch or you didn't switch?
no, he didn't switch.
Oh, and you
I was
thought he
like, just
should've.
10 HP for like 3 rails. I was like, well, fair. And I ended up killing him.
Honestly, I felt like he did something similar versus Kilson in their tournament game at KUACHICON. He didn't switch out to machine gun enough. But it is tricky. Normally he knows the stacks that you're on like pretty well.
Yeah, I
Got a
think
pretty good feel for it. So.
that's probably like we're just how can I say, getting those hours in the game. Like if Dan played more or had an opportunity to play against top players, he would
Yeah,
be.
he would
one of the
know.
best.
He would know. Yeah. Oh, just before the heavy spawns, RAISY does go down though. No invis, or at least he didn't pop it. And what are we? 6 frags. Okay, no invis. I was right. So 6 frags. Is it still doable? How hard is it with this Nyx? It feels like RAISY's playing loose. He could have picked up that mega there, and he drops down for a gauntlet instead. So could have denied the mega. Instead, went for the gauntlet, misses it, in a bad position, dies. Now we're 5 frags. Nice rocket there though. Oh, and he goes aggressive with the double jump. Comes back in for another look. Here's the jump pad. Dan's gonna pray this heavy comes up. And his dodging needs to be good here.
Okay, then.
That was a very tense moment. That particular situation, very, very tense.
It's not. I mean, I think RAISY.
Does he have a plus back game at all? What's going on here?
I think I don't know. Actually, I'm surprised by.
Even versus Camma, he had a 14-16 game on Vale enough. That's pretty.
Oh, really?
That's pretty high scoring. I think
No.
RAISY's just come in to try to teach us all a lesson, has he?
He wants to make it close. No,
Yeah.
no, I
He
think.
wants to keep it close, does he? A little bit more entertaining for the Australian fans. All right.
No, I think RAISY sometimes does struggle with that, but. And again, look at that. That was even a perfect moment. Again, like, think of another character with a different ability where he just stood there. That was it. And now it's now back to BQ3 characters.
Yeah, that's right.
Like,
No, it's you don't get anything really out of the ability. I mean, did win the mega, but probably would have won a mega with anything else anyway. So he had the stack advantage and the weapon advantage. So. And he can sense RAISY's this T junction. It's LG on LG. RAISY will have the light to back off. Doesn't take a lot of rocket damage. 53. I guess it sort of destroys the light. Dan knows he's waiting at mega. No, he's just got the invis up with the time shards. He's only got a minute and a half. He really has to push hard here after this mega. He's gonna know he's at LG. And now we can see RAISY's finally playing the plus back game. So.
I think if Dan wants to win this game, he needs to get a kill like the next 15 seconds, I think.
Dan would love for one of these rails to connect. He actually had opportunity to the third one, but decides to pull out the rocket launcher.
And I think this might be
Yeah, it's not enough time.
just with how you can like delay spawns and also hide, especially as Nyx here.
Yeah, he knows there's no invis though. He's gonna try and push hard for it. Oh, he had to be hitting these rails. Oh, okay.
He does the damage, and he's gonna collect the kill.
Yep. Still probably not enough time, you would say, but he might be able to make it close.
And is unless he can get this kill quite quickly. And now
What?
Invis
No
will be
rockets?
up.
Okay.
Actually, no. Well, okay. RAISY does have invis in 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. He's got 2 frags. Invis is up now. Dan knows he's getting good tri-bolt spam, but there is no heavy. Dan would have loved to hit that rail. He knows mega's up. Gonna take light. No, he's not even gonna go for the mega. He doesn't have time.
Yeah.
No, he's gonna circle back around for it now, just so RAISY doesn't steal it. And he's gonna probably cut off RAISY here at the rail, but without popping this invis. Oh, RAISY makes a little mistake there falling down, and Dan is gonna hunt for this frag. He might get one more, but he's definitely not gonna be able to win the game. And RAISY, yeah, there you go, 11-10.
It wouldn't be one frag, but that's actually a good respect by RAISY there. Even notice what he had done at the end of the game. So he has like a 3-4 frag lead, and he just understands.
70 rail on RAISY, just sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. I mean, even a 1%, like, the very first few minutes is like 85 or something.
Yeah, the start it was really, but Dan just not connecting as hard as what he did versus Stage, and but that could be because RAISY makes it more difficult. Yeah. And obviously he's playing a lighter character like the Nyx. So.
I mean, we remember that first moment he pushed through T, and he hit that. He was like flying through the mid and like using the tri-bolt at the same time.
Yes, that's right.
Dan was trying to use the rail, and I think he had it, so it didn't fire at all. So, but yeah, like at the end there, RAISY still understood what he had to do. He just kept running from Dan, and then it's forcing him to not pick up items. Then that means that if RAISY runs to those locations, he can pick them up.
Yep.
So yeah, I think statistically it looked close, but I think RAISY knew that he had
Time to play with. All right, I'm just going to see if Phylum's around. We might get someone else to cast with Dave. Hang on, just give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back, and maybe you can talk about the Valorant matchup if you like.
Actually, I might get Phylum to also maybe find or do a solo cast because I'll go get ready. Alright, Mick will.
So we'll swap. Yeah, that's fine. All right, so we're gonna try and Dave wants to get ready and warmed up for Rafa because obviously that could be straight after this. So he just wants to get in the game. So we will get Phylum in hopefully. Dave will try to find him if he can, and otherwise it will just be stuck with me. So, and yeah, big thanks to Zanarko for coming in before his game and giving us a little bit of insight to what's going on, what's happening in his day, in his tournament. Yeah, we're ready to go. Phylum will sit down if he's around, and I think he has been knocked out now, so. Yep, awesome, cool, all right. Hello, Phylum.
How's it going? God, that was tight.
Yeah, RAISY didn't really want to put the brakes on it all, did he?
No, yeah, he just kept going. I mean, 70% rail or whatever it was, right?
Yeah,
And then,
he's feeling himself.
you know, Dan getting a bit of a taste of his own medicine from earlier, just having the clock run down.
And it was the same, yeah, Nick's character as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
I did
yeah,
think
yeah.
that. I did think it was a taste of his own medicine. So.
Yeah, okay. RAISY, Clutch, Veil of Nath. These are three things that are very good on their own. Clutch on Veil of Nath, right? Dan has a big opportunity here to close down choke points with rockets, you know, make some really solid plays. If he can get good use out of the turret, right? Again, you know, we're kind of seeing the reverse of what we saw earlier.
Yeah, I think, I'm just trying to think how well the turret will go versus the clutch, because you don't have that same freedom. Yeah, we'll start on RAISY. We'll see what the clutch is doing.
We got to see what the clutch is doing. But yeah, like, is RAISY going to be so tanked that he's just like, I don't care. Let the little dinks come in, right? Look at his massive armor stack.
Yeah, look at the stack. Crazy.
Fight.
See if Dan can deal with it. All right, take us away, Phylum.
All right, RAISY. I'm interested to just see what he's going to do with this movement off the start. If he's going to get creative, right? Well, he knows what Dan's got. He's going to just take his stuff and get really tanky and huge and probably just play sound cues here, I reckon. No opening rails. Dan, you know, playing quiet, sitting back. Again, I think Dan just really relying on this sound, and he's going to have to rely on sound, because if RAISY can get clean entrances into rooms, that's going to be when Dan's going to have a lot of trouble. Nice use of turret there, that gives him some information. This first Mega might be hotly contested. RAISY stops and watches Dan from the bottom to try and kind of feel out a gap in the rockets, and small movement error, that's going to give Dan a lot of space onto Mega. You know, nothing too dramatic here. RAISY would like to trade damage before taking the heavy, but we're just going to see both players kind of giving each other some space. Could be a bit of drama here.
Wow, nice lightning gun there from Dan. And RAISY tried to use the jump pad and the double jump as like a sort of like a movement interruption to throw Dan off, but glued him in that narrow corridor up top. And RAISY does get a rail off the spawn though, and he will push in straight away for the refrag. And this potentially will give him the Mega, and there's a tiny offset to the heavy, so maybe he will be able to push around there. Dan's going to be here though.
Yeah, nice anticipation from RAISY. I mean, huge rockets from Dan, right? But look at how tanky. You know, if this was the Knicks again, you're dead. But RAISY just still ready to fight, still ready to keep this pressure on, still holding on to this advantage. And this map can really snowball if you're not careful when you're playing such a different character. The shield again, can Dan do his magic? Not quite. But again, like, he's getting him pretty low. The problem's going to be the speed plus this Mega plus the impending heavy. I don't think Dan has the guns to do anything about this.
Yeah, so RAISY offset that first heavy just by a few seconds, and when he got that refrag, he was able to get the Mega, bully Dan quickly off the heavy, and now he's almost got the items offset far enough that he can just go on in between them. And Dan has to do something. He doesn't want to be completely locked out of the map just based on the clutch stack. You know, you don't want to let the clutch stay at a full stack.
Yeah, he's got to do something. I mean, the machine gun spam here is pretty good, but RAISY just has the rockets.
Oh, and RAISY missing that last rail does mean his chip damage. Oh, he tries to anticipate the rocket. He guesses right, but the rocket just, he shot it to the right. Dan jumped to the left, so Dan gets away on 6 HP, gets the heavy, and RAISY's is not done fighting. And these guys are really fight-oriented at the moment, aren't they? They seem very aggressive, both of them.
I would have thought this would have been slower, yeah, especially like the clutch, so good at just playing the stack and whatever, but I think Dan's got the right idea. He's got to keep the pressure on. He can't let him get away with stuff, you know. Clutch really easy to hit. Keep that pressure on just with that machine gun if you have to.
Oh, nice little cheeky rail there as Dan falls on the heavy. Dan will jump on it, and then the LG on LG fight, and Dan You know what? Dan is literally just jumping on these items at the moment. Both the Mega and the Heavy a few times. He's just said, you know what? Bugger. Let's just fight over it. I'll jump on it. Hopefully the stack gives me the advantage and let's just see what happens. So
The way stacks work in Quake Champions, right? You're at your most stacked the second you take the item.
Yes.
If you want the closest stack to this clutch, you have to be taking
best
the
time to do it,
item,
yeah.
right? It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I rate the decision. This Heavy, RAISY doesn't want part of it. He doesn't have rockets.
yeah, but Dan's going to push hard on the Mega as well. So honestly, RAISY's just trying to get anything going with the lights and hopefully he can get some initial damage off. But even there he goes, a good first rocket, good second rocket. And then Dan just predictably coming through the teleporter behind him. So didn't want to forfeit that.
Yeah, I mean, RAISY just too good at closing the distance there. And this is when the clutch shines the most, right? You pop the shield, you get in close, you know, just in their face where they can't do anything.
So one good thing about Dan taking a fight so early is that he had enough time to come back out, and RAISY recognized that and didn't stay for that Mega. So Dan did get both major items. That could have been a strategy by Dan there to take an early fight, going, if I just get you low, I'll come in and refrag you anyway, mate. And RAISY knew that, rightfully backed off, and we'll see if Dan can now play with full control.
Yeah, maybe we should watch Dan. It looks like RAISY's just going to be, you know, playing on the back foot for a bit. Dan really doing a great job of making sure that RAISY doesn't have an easy in. I love the angles he's trying to hold. And, you know, let's see what RAISY is going to bring to the table at this Heavy. Absolutely nothing. The respect here is unreal.
Yeah.
You know, I really hope we don't see the same situation for Dan again, where he's just trying to chase down these frags. I think RAISY...
Yeah, Clutch isn't as good at running away. I guess maybe with the ability you can reduce damage and run away, but Dan's come back and RAISY's anticipated it with a rail, so that's not good. He's going to keep control of the Mega Heavy cycle though, so it's not going to mean too much, but RAISY's definitely trying to do a bit more here. Here he comes, and he'll just pinch the Heavy. And nice lightning gun from Dan. Honestly, you miss one rail, you eat 100 damage, and here's another lightning gun kill. Oh, wow. The starting stack from Clutch just too much, and Dan ran out of LG there, I think.
I love the dodge there as well, right? Just like raises his model a little bit.
Little
makes it
bit,
harder
yeah.
to finish off.
Throws him off, yeah. That will still give Dan both majors, though. Most likely, RAISY's going to have to play the back skirts again. Maybe we actually flick back over to Dan. It seems like he's got full control again. So.
Yeah, I mean, the refrag potential was there for Dan. RAISY's just played this pretty chill. And, oh, the missed rail for Dan.
Awkward little movement there, because he dashed into him. Yeah, very
Dan,
awkward.
Dan didn't expect it. I mean, you wouldn't think you could miss a clutch at point blank, but yeah, just when you're caught up.
Oh, and
like
again
that.
with the dodge, just
Yeah.
awkwardly just jumping over the lightning gun beam, because Dan had slightly bigger stack there and obviously an easier model to hit, but then the dodge just interrupted his LG beam, and I don't think RAISY can stay for this Heavy though, so Dan is just going to keep taking the major items and RAISY's just happy with the frag lead.
It's really weird. It's almost the opposite of what you would expect with these characters, I would say, right?
Oh no, too predictable.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, usually I would think, right? You know, the clutch should be taking the items and you take advantage of the bigger model to like hit rails and nullify the items. But instead, yeah, like RAISY just using awesome fighting skills and really good mechanics. He wants to take this fight again. And
I think Dan has started, RAISY started to figure out Dan is just ready to attack him 24/7, and RAISY's setting up for that now, you know.
Yeah. But he's making some good catches of his own as well. A small movement error for Dan, and it's going to have a massive knock-on effect as RAISY comes into
I
the
hope
frag.
RAISY doesn't die here. So he actually, I think, meant to fall and pick up the Heavy as he fell, but he was slightly off his movement there.
I think Dan missed it. RAISY deliberately left it up because he was going to try and...
You think he deliberately left that up then?
I
Because
think
he
so.
actually died deliberately
Yeah.
leaving that up then. I thought it was an accident.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Either way, a bit.
Yeah,
of
either way, it was
misstep.
weird.
Yeah.
It was weird. So Dan does get the kill and actually gets the refrag as well. So it's not over yet. 4 frags.
You know, 11-7 with 3 minutes to go. I think this is literally the scoreline from last map.
Yep. Different characters, of course. Dan will make the jump. He knows he doesn't have a railgun, but
Okay.
does well to not take too much LG stream there. We'll go. I reckon he should go get a railgun then, but that's all right. He's going to go back for it anyway. We'll take the light as well and probably aggressively push this Mega. He's trying to figure out where RAISY could be.
Oh.
RAISY with a nice shot though, and Dan won't connect, so he's got to back off here, I'd imagine.
Yeah, no, you can't hang around this. You can't.
Oh no, yeah, he got caught.
Well, he didn't get caught. He stayed and got greedy looking for these rails. And,
Yes.
You know, you can feel the time pressure starting to set in on
Yes,
his shoulders,
yeah, of
right?
course.
He's
gotta
been playing
take a risk
well.
somewhere.
He's had opportunities against RAISY, right? You know, if he can take a map off of this guy, it's a big deal for him.
Yep.
If he can keep this series alive, it's a big deal for him.
Yeah, for sure.
But,
2-0 back against the wall.
yeah.
be down on the last or potentially last map. Nice rocket jump from Dan. He would have loved to connect with one more of those rockets, and RAISY does connect with the rail back, so that'll give him the mega, and now it's looking very dire for Dan.
Yeah, you know, there was some slim chance.
There was. Yeah, that's right, there was. And now it's that'd have to be the nail in the coffin. So
that is going to be GG.
he played the RAISY though. Yeah,
That's awesome.
He actually sort of matched Dan's pace a lot for a lot of those maps, and said, "Do you want to charge me?" Oh, well, I want to charge you. So
Yeah, but I mean, awesome games by Dan, right? Every single one of these maps, he's had a good chance of taking RAISY down there for sure.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Combo kill.
yeah, had his moments, and
Watch.
RAISY's he's been through the trenches himself. You know, he knows. All right, you want to refrag here? Fine, I'll refrag you back. And this will just be garbage time pretty much the last minute, as we will get into Rafa and Zanaku next. So you're gonna stay for that?
I'm gonna hang
I think we might get Dan in to cast that one. We have to see if he's
Haymo's
got
around
play.
as well.
Oh yeah, haymo as
Yeah.
well if he wants to jump in.
I'm gonna take this bit of garbage time. I'm gonna run to the bathroom. I'm gonna leave the stream. And
Yeah, no, you're right.
That's a
All
bit.
good, mate. All
But
good.
I'll be back.
See
ready to go.
see who you can pick up and bring in with you, because I wouldn't mind a little break myself.
Yeah, I'll find. There's plenty of people hanging.
Watch the Rafa Zanaku game from the spectator hall or something. So
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll see you guys in a minute.
yes, well played to RAISY and making it through to the upper bracket finals.
Killing spree. Impressive. Damage.
Yeah, he's just left Malinky Fox. Game's over though. Fair play to him. Rafa. That's what DJ Weep would say, Crib. Rafa. Gonna see Rafa next.
You lose. You lose.
Yeah, but also catch up and sometimes say there's still chance. There's still chance. There's like 10 frags down with 1 minute left. Come on, bro, just call it. Bulk of the game's out. Rafa. Nice game there from RAISY. 34 rail, 47 rail on Dan. Not a lot of damage done with the rail, actually. Mostly done with the lightning gun. Down with 51 against the clutch. But RAISY, actually, there's a lot of rock. There's actually a nice spread of damage from both players, or especially from RAISY. Nice use of all weapons. So clinical. He played well. He saw what Dan was doing early, and then stepped up the pace himself. So well played to him. And 3-0, he'll move on to the upper brackets to face the winner of Zanaku and Rafa, which is who we play next.